What is Game Changer about? Game Changer is a story about empathy, about learning empathy. The main character, Ash, is a fairly oblivious, white heterosexual male, but in the course of the story, he's going to have his notions of the world and of himself challenged. He's going to have a crash course in racism, sexism, homophobia, and privilege through this series of world-bending events that's going to hit him hard. What was the inspiration behind Game Changer? I'm always looking for unique ways of telling stories that deal with social issues. I like telling surreal and mind-bending stories, and I'm always trying to find a really different way to do it. And this sort of satisfied both, being able to tell a story that was socially relevant and also surreal. It really started years ago when a student asked me if I would ever write a football story. And I told him, well, I would if I ever came up with a story that lent itself to being told in that way. And for years, I didn't have an idea for a football story. But then, after reading more about concussions in American football, I started to think about what that does to your brain and what would happen if you weren't the one who got the concussion. What if you gave the world the concussion? And then I started to think about the different worlds that a character might jump into and how those worlds could be socially relevant, how they could teach that character all the things that that character has been ignoring in his own world and learn to see things from different people's perspectives. And so putting all those things together, it became Game Changer. What made me choose Ash as the character that would be shifting between worlds? As a person who identifies as a straight white male, I didn't feel I had the authority to tell the story from another perspective. I mean, those are other people's stories to tell. But this is not a straight white male who saves the world story. It's exactly the opposite. This is a story of that same character learning that he is not the hero he thought he was. And the only reason that the world needs saving is because of his actions and his inaction. Game Changer, as I said, is about empathy, but it's also about accepting personal and social responsibility, even when it's painful to do so. It's about growing into accountability, which is something that everyone, whether you're a teen or adult, needs to face if we're ever going to truly thrive as a society. What scenes and ideas did I find the most exciting to explore? That's a hard question to answer without giving spoilers. Uh, I would say the things that were the most challenging were the most interesting to explore. The ones that were pinging on the most sensitive social nerves. Every time Ash found himself a different person internally, that was really interesting to write and to just get into his headspace. And when things were external, when it was the world around him that changed, seeing his reactions and learning through the things that he's seeing, all the things he should have done in his own world and should be doing in his own world to rectify the wrongs. Exploring all that was really the crux of the story and what made it exciting for me to write. What do I hope readers will take from this journey into other realities? I would really like readers to look at themselves and the world around them in a whole new way. Narrow perspectives have been increasingly tearing our world apart. My hope is this story will shake people out of their comfort zones, the way Ash was shaken out of his, because only by recognizing and breaking our own bad patterns and society's bad patterns can we hope to create something better. Are there any further themes that I would have explored if Ash had been able to take an infinite number of hits? There are so many different themes I would have liked to have explored. Everything from Latinx issues to transgender, the endless battle between the left and the right. But there's only so much you can do in a single book. And as it is, I felt that I stretched it as much as I could with the many issues that I did address. And really, I just touched the surface of those issues. And that was the point. was to scratch the surface of these issues and give Ash just a little bit of perspective of what it's like to see the world from these different points of view, hoping that he and readers will want to dig deeper and gain greater perspective.